All right, welcome to the Robert Show. Look where I am. It's Microsoft office in Mountain View, and I'm with one and only Dipti Borkar, VP and General Manager at Microsoft. Dipti, first of all, welcome to the Robert Show.
Thank you so much. Awesome to be here.
It is such a pleasure to finally meet in person. It looks like we've been connected since years now, and I have obviously seen your journey evolving, the great things that you do in the data and AI community. I've been watching closely, and I'm super excited today to chat about what's happening at Microsoft Fabric. I saw some interesting announcements that you all have made, but also, just for our audience, would you like to quickly introduce yourself? I'm pretty sure the audience knows you. They see you at a lot of conferences. You speak at a lot of panel discussions. So yeah, just a little about.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you again for having me on. It's been such an amazing journey for me in data. I was joking earlier with you that my initials are DB,
Right.
and I'm grateful to be a part of so many transformations through this process, from SQL to NoSQL, from to a disaggregated stack for analytics to now Gen AI and data, and it's been a wonderful journey.
Yeah.
Started my career at IBM, DB2 distributed. From there, I moved on to Couchbase, doing a bunch of NoSQL
Exactly.
things for many years. Grew that company out, and then after that, founded my own in the disaggregated stack space with Ahana, and now at Microsoft, working on Fabric, which is an incredible platform, and looking forward to sharing some more about that.
We're seeing all of it very closely too. So I can't wait. And as you mentioned about obviously Fabric at Microsoft, I'm kind of curious to know what is Fabric, how is it transforming the landscape of cloud databases. Can you explain the significance and share a little more
Yeah,
about it?
absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
first thing is, if you haven't heard about Microsoft Fabric, it's just a matter of time.
I'm sure everyone has.
Honestly, and we announced this at Build last week, as well as Satya shared it earlier as well.
Right.
We have 11,000 customers on Fabric today.
11,000 already.
Already in its 6 months post GA. The
Wow.
momentum is unbelievable. It's really exciting times. And personally for me, given that I've been in this journey of disaggregated stacks and data lakes, Fabric is truly transformative for data platform teams, right?
Right.
In general, it's a complete analytics platform. It brings together everything from Power BI all the way down to Azure Data Factory, the data warehouse, and now including real-time intelligence, and everything in the middle. So from low code, no code to pro code, you have
Wow.
full coverage of everything that you might want to do with data. And for the areas that we don't build ourselves, we actually have now opened up the platform itself. It's truly an open platform where other partners can build native workloads on top of Fabric as well.
When you talk about other partners, who are these partners? Because I saw some interesting announcements that you recently made at the Microsoft Build as well. So would you like to share a little about that as well? First of all, a little about the announcements, but also about the openness, right?
Absolutely. The platform is truly open, and it's open in a few different ways. First is open formats. So we started off with Delta Lake. It's our primary format. That's what we use.
Nice.
And last week we announced Iceberg support that's
Oh,
coming
wow.
as well. And so we want to meet customers where they are, whichever format they pick. In addition to that, it's open interfaces. SQL is extremely widely used. We have a Spark engine. We have KQL APIs. And so all of these APIs our customers can build on top of. And then the platform itself is open. We introduced a workload development kit on top of Fabric. And
Nice.
so just like Power BI or our data warehouse uses the Fabric platform, that same amazing platform can now be used by our partners. We announced SAS and Informatica, Esri, Teradata, Prophecy,
Huge. Wow.
Neo4j, right? All of these are now building native workloads and which will be available directly within Fabric for all our joint customers. So it's not just the areas that you would expect out of a data platform, but others are coming in to truly have one place to unify data with one lake that is built as the foundation of
A
it.
game changer for sure, not only just for the customers, because they don't need to worry about have going to different places. Rather, they the partnership kind of brings everyone together.
Absolutely. And the other aspect is data lives everywhere, right?
True.
So with one lake, you can actually bring data in from a range of other clouds. You might have data on S3 and AWS. You might have data on GCP with GCS, right? And all of these can be shortcutted into one lake. And so you truly have a single data state where you get a view of the data. You can also mirror databases in, like Snowflake, our own Azure SQL, Cosmos DB. All of these can be mirrored into one lake, and so you truly have a full view of your data.
Fantastic insights. Thanks for sharing those. Also, quickly, I know build just happened, and you might be talking to a lot of customers, partners, but also the community. And whichever conference we go these days, obviously Gen AI is also the talk of the town, and you can't miss that. And now Gen AI meets data. So I'm kind of curious to learn more about what your thoughts are. How is it going to add to the capabilities that we already have, and how is it going to change the game for the users out there?
Absolutely. Look, data is the foundation of AI, right? Without good data, clean data, open data, your models are only going to be so good.
Yeah.
And so, as customers talk to us, there are, I would say, two clear areas that they want to get more into. The first is getting more productive, right? Their
Right.
own teams getting more productive, and this is where our co-pilots come in, right? We announced a range of co-pilots.
Exactly.
Fabric has its own co-pilot as well. Every experience has its own. But this really, I mean, the value of it is your data scientists and your data analysts getting there faster, right? Using natural language to create a dashboard, using natural language to write a really complex SQL query in the warehouse. All of this will make things a lot easier. So this is on the productivity side. The other aspect of Gen AI that we're questions that we get from customers is around them training their own models on their own data. So
Yes.
everyone has their own data sets internally. Some of these are highly proprietary data sets. Some of it is just internal customer data, enterprise data, and they want to train on that. And that's where One Lake becomes the foundation with the open formats. You can then have custom models that can be built on top of data. So co-pilots, as well as custom LLMs, is something that we're hearing about a lot, a lot of
Exactly.
questions, and also a lot of usage that we're starting to see.
It's pretty interesting, and I think the space is also moving very quickly. And it also brings me to another, like, I just want to shift the gears a little bit here, because I know for a fact that you talk a lot about women in tech too, right? Yeah. And how are you seeing the women in tech? How is it changing with the Gen AI as well coming into the game? There's obviously more space
Yes.
where women can come and contribute. What are your thoughts? What's happening in the women in tech space?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's just not enough women in tech. So
Right.
I'll start there. But it's an area, it's a topic that's very near and dear to me. As I grew through the ranks, it oftentimes I was the only woman in the room with room filled with men.
Yeah.
Now it's become it's evolved, it's changing, and
Nice.
it's great to see that. But I think that. For me, what I have tried to do is stay at the forefront of data, right? Forefront of the bleeding edge. Get uncomfortable. Learn new skills. It's really important to be able to do that. And so my advice would be. There might be a project that's new and upcoming, and there might be risks associated with it, but take the risk.
Wow.
High
Yeah.
risk, high reward. But keep learning, keep evolving. If you don't transform, how will you make a difference overall? And so those are a few thoughts for the next generation of women in tech, and I hope to see a lot more leaders in the technical space over time.
Very
My
helpful.
daughter being one of them.
Wow, I love it. No, 100%. I think those are pretty good insights for every woman there out there who are kind of hesitant. Take that risk, take that step. Also, quickly wanted to touch base on the open source contribution. I know for a fact where your contributions to open source, particularly as chairperson at Linux Foundation, has been instrumental. So, how do you see the future of open source evolving, and what role do you believe it will play in the next generation of data
Yeah, that's a
technologies?
great question. And it's funny, you keep throwing these questions that I have no idea are coming.
And I kind of have like the diverse questions. Like I know for a fact we've kind of covered what's happening in the
Yes.
space, women in tech, and then open source. So yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been in the open source space for a long, long time. A
exactly.
lot of project involvement, chairperson for projects for Linux Foundation, etc.
Yep.
Open LLMs now increasingly, there's a lot of open source LLMs. The space is continuing to evolve,
Yes.
and so in general, it's again like the advice to women in tech. It's kind of similar to engineers out there is stay current, right? Stay current with open source projects. Start participating in them early as well. Because there's usually easy fixes, things like that get you started, but it allows you to really understand the space over time. Even Fabric, a lot of it is building on top of the core open source. For
Yes.
example, the data formats. We just announced the native Spark engine as well. And so it will continue to stay important, be important. Yeah, I think participation, keeping a watch on what the projects are, staying connected with the contributors, learn to become a committer over time. All of those would be things I would recommend.
I like how you've articulated these things, and but in your career as well, you have uh, actually incorporated these pretty well, and that brings a lot of insights for the audience out there. So thanks for sharing that. Also, quickly wanted to see what your thoughts are about the future of cloud databases. Looking ahead, what are your predictions for the future of cloud databases, but and data management as well? Do you want to share like what Microsoft's role in shaping this future would look like, and what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I don't want to be the spokesperson for
Yeah. Oh yeah,
all of
100%.
Microsoft. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
But in general, just having been in the space for over 20 years, AI and data are truly, colliding and becoming one thing. Our databases are adding more and more AI capabilities, vector indexes, for
Nice.
example, right? Vector indexes will be part of every database and will be a must-have to build the next generation Gen AI applications. Streaming will become part of applications, so reactive applications will be really important. Over time, there will be consolidation of analytics into the application increasingly as well. So it's not just OLTP operations. The analytics will be built in through models, whether it's LLMs or SLMs or a range of different other AI techniques. And so applications will essentially get richer and richer, which will mean that the data platforms underneath, whether it's a database or an analytical system, will need to continue to support those intense requirements. And so they will collapse, right? Into unified platforms
Yeah.
over time, and hopefully simplify the journey for developers building on top of it.
Love it, and these are great insights for sure, and I agree with your thoughts. I talk to a lot of leaders, so I kind of feel that it resonates out there with a lot of people out there. But I know, keeping time in mind, Dipti, this was such a great conversation. I had a blast, and I'm pretty sure our audience would have a blast as well when we publish this. Thanks for doing this once again, and we'll keep the conversation going.
Sounds good.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me again. Thanks, everyone. Bye
Thanks,
bye.
everyone. Bye.